Hey guys, and welcome back to Hoosier Hardware. Today we're once again talking about the Ryzen 3900X, and unfortunately it's not in a great way because you've probably already heard by now, and if you haven't, I apologize in advance for sort of ruining the party for you, but the 3950X has apparently been delayed until November, which means at least for the time being and for the next couple of months, the 3900X is the top-end mainstream processor you can get from AMD, and unfortunately it's unavailable in most places or extremely expensive, which is really the topic of today's video. So once again, the 3950X has been delayed until November, which also looks like when we're gonna get to see some Threadripper processors as well, which leaves the Ryzen 3900X, the 12-core and 24-thread monster, as the top-end AMD mainstream chip that they have right now. And unfortunately, it looks like it's been very difficult for AMD to keep up with demand with the 3900X, as Amazon and Newegg both have this chip basically unavailable, at least if you're buying through them directly. Now, there are third-party sellers on both of those marketplaces, but unfortunately, those third-party sellers are taking full advantage of the market, which, frankly, I can't really blame them on that front, because if somebody's willing to pay $800 or $900 for it, then sure, why wouldn't you sell the 3900X at that price if you're able to actually sell it for that? So ironically, one of the cheaper places that you can actually get your hands on a 3900X right now is a place like eBay, where you can buy new and used ones, and while you're still paying inflated prices, they aren't quite as bad as it looks like they are right now on places like Amazon and Newegg. And with that all said, I do want to mention that I will have the 3900X linked in the description down below. I'll probably link both Newegg and Amazon so you can actually check out where the pricing is when you actually go to watch this video, because obviously in the future this trend, hopefully at least, will change drastically and we'll get this processor back to MSRP. But in the meantime, as of September 20th-ish, 2019, then yeah, it's way overpriced right now on Amazon and Newegg. So now I want to talk a little bit about, for those of you that actually already picked up a 3900X, and there is a question that will now be asked by a lot of people, especially people that upgraded from a previous Ryzen chip, and especially if you still have those laying around, do you turn around and flip your used 3900X and then pick one back up again later on when it hits back to MSRP, and meanwhile keep going with the previous Ryzen chip that you had? And that's actually probably not a bad strategy right now. Now, doing a quick search for used 3900Xs that have sold recently on eBay shows us that we're seeing a lot of these chips go in the $600-ish range. Now, by the time eBay takes its cut and you actually ship off the processor, you're not looking like you're gonna be gaining a huge amount of that money back. So I think in most people's cases that are selling these used chips, you're probably gonna wanna ask a high number, for a high dollar amount rather, for the processor that you're trying to offload, because the chances look pretty strong you're not going to be able to land one again for a while. But if you're looking to make a quick buck, then sure, selling off a used 3900X for $600, $650 may be a way to do it. Now, I can already tell, and I can already just sort of see the comments that may come in on this video about how you're taking advantage of the market. And yes, I suppose that is true, but the counter to that right now is there are more people looking for cheap 3900Xs, or at least 3900Xs that are near MSRP, than there are available right now. So at least putting it out there, if you're willing to make a quick buck, you know, sell one for $600, $650, there are a lot of people that may be willing to pay that extra money, just because right now you can't get anything better, and we just got delayed the chip that was likely going to launch in the coming days. At least up until very recently, it looked like it'd be in the coming days, and now we're stuck with the 3900X. I know, stuck with the 3900X, but it is the top-end chip from AMD right now for the next month, or possibly next couple of months, depends on when in November it actually launches. So I don't see it as taking advantage of the market, as long as maybe you're not charging an insane amount of money, and even if you are, if somebody's willing to pay it, I can't really fault you for taking that trade, especially if you have something to downgrade back to while you wait on more 3900Xs to sort of hit stockpiles, and eventually the chip will hopefully sink back in price. So I don't really blame you if you take advantage of the market. to make a quick buck. Now, if you were looking forward to a Ryzen 3000 series chip, the good news here is right now pretty much every other SKU is readily available. Talking about the 8 cores all the way down to the 6 cores and each of the different variants, the 3800Xs, the 3700Xs, 3600Xs, and the 3600s all look like they are readily available, as well as the APUs. If you're looking at one of the 3000 series APUs, of course they are on the Zen Plus architecture though, and not the Zen 2 architecture, that the APUs that is. So if you're looking at other Ryzen 3000 series chips, unless you're talking about the top end one, they should be readily available on places like Amazon and Newegg, and I'll also probably just link the entire Amazon list of Ryzen processors just so you can check those prices, but the gist of it is they should be around MSRP right now as of filming. So that's going to about do it here. If you already have a 3900X that you bought, count yourself among the lucky few that got your hands on it early, because obviously prices have gone up dramatically for the 3900X in the last month or so, and with this delay I could totally see the price getting driven back up even higher, because people that were holding off for the 3950X now may go ahead and settle on the 3900X, and if they're willing to pay that higher price, that $600, $700, $800 for a 3900X, this shortage might not actually get any better. But of course I do want to know your thoughts down below. What do you think of this sort of shortage that's going on? Were you looking to pick up a 3900X? And if so, are you gonna settle on something else, maybe a Ryzen 3800X, 3700X, or maybe even go over to Team Blue and get an Intel chip? Let me know what your plans, especially if you've changed your plans from the 3900X or 3950X, let us know what your new plans are down below. And of course, if you like the video, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment. All those things are very helpful to the channel. You can follow me both on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. And of course, as always, I will let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.